YouTube, and today we have a special deck list for you. Not only is it a top 8 Treasure Cup winning deck list, but it's who won with this deck specifically. Not only is it just a random person who got it, it is our very own Giovanni R with WonPieceTCG. Hello there, Gio.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Goddamn, self-gloating, I see. No, but congratulations on your victory for one. What was the ranking that you got to start it off with?
So I finished out of the 9 rounds we had May 5th for the Treasure Cup Regional. I finished 8-1, and I only lost to the dude who got first place and won the whole shebang. So, and honestly, I feel like I even could have won that match. I feel like I did a misplay, but yeah, overall the Kinemon deck was phenomenal. Like I'm very glad I decided to go for this instead of Zoro.
Well, to be fair, if you were to lose to anyone, at least you can say I lost to the guy who won it all, you know?
Exactly.
Before we get to the deck list, I just have a quick question for you. Obviously, we see Green has been topping in almost all the regionals or Treasure Cups for set 2, but we haven't seen a first place win with Kinemon, at least not from my knowledge. Why did you choose Kinemon or Green to begin with, when red has been so prevalent in the meta?
So for me personally, like I love Zoro. He's like I got the gold leader, but for me, I took Kinemon just because I was trying to counterpick the meta. So I was looking at the last regional results and I saw that the whole top 8 was all red.
Yep.
So now I was thinking, all right, so what do? I either join the gang and go red Zoro, right?
Yes.
Or I try to be different and go Kinemon to counterpick. So Zoro, the reason why he's doing so good is because currently One Piece is in a rock, paper, scissors, I feel like, format. You know, like certain decks auto win to certain ones and like certain ones lose to like other, you know, but Zoro has pretty much good matchups against everything. That's why Zoro is so good right now. But I took Kinemon just because I know Kinemon 9 out of 10 times can beat a Zoro. You know, there's obviously I can draw a bad hand, or you know he could just draw the God hand, and you know there's always those games. It's like you know. But anyways, Kinemon just had a better favor against red matchups. So I was totally banking that I would verse more red than anything else, because I would not have topped as good as I did if I versed purple or black. Because purple or black, I knew I was losing with Kin. But I took that risk going in.
Yep.
You know?
Well, it was a good risk to take, especially with purple. There's Magellan, black, there's Smoker, but they're not really as prevalent as red is. So if you were to counterpick any color, choosing red was the smart idea.
Exactly. So it paid off. I actually did not verse a single purple or black deck. It was all red. I versed 2 Zoros, 3 Luffys, 2 Don Flamingos, and 2 or 3 Laws. So yeah, so pretty much all red.
And there's your counter pick for you. Well,
exactly.
Intro's been getting a little long, so let's just get into the meat and potatoes. Let's start with the deck list, Gio.
All right, so we'll go quick because honestly, you've probably seen this Kinemon deck profile a million times by now. It's so core that with only 2 sets, there's not much variation you can do. The deck's got to be what it is, you know?
Yes.
So if you don't know, the Kinemon leader effect says activate main once per turn. Whenever you play a 3-cost land of Wano, it costs 1 less. So always at the start of your turn, if you've got 1 or less characters on field, just say activate main.
Yep.
All right, so that's the leader. Then, of course, this is a staple, 4 Momos. It's amazing. You play it for 1, top 5, look for any land of Wano. So this is just your draw. This makes you so consistent because it grabs everything from your deck. Your Odins, your Okikus, your Yamatos. It's great. And then, of course, consistent value if you can keep it alive.
100%. Especially with the amount of blockers that Green has, it's most likely going to...
Exactly. And then I just run a 2-of Jewelry Bonnie because she's good, but she really only grabs like your blockers or like your 7-drop kid. And she's almost dangerous to hit because if you're looking for an Odin, she'll 9 out of 10 times she'll end up bottoming your Odin. So this is really like once you already have your Odin established, like you don't want to play this early because you're not looking for blockers early on. You know what I'm saying?
And quick question: since Bonnie has the look up to, do you ever just stop as soon as you hit like a supernova, or do you do the full top 5?
100%. Yeah. So Bonnie, you could look it up to 5. So I always do 1, 2, 3, and as soon as I find the first supernova I'm looking for, which is usually like the gang blocker or maybe like the 2K Capone, you know. But yeah, I never dig, because they're gonna end up bottoming something good like an Okiku or Yamato.
Gotcha.
All right, and then speaking of the blocker package, we have 4 gangs. Then we have 4 of the Kozuki Toki. I know we're not dripped up out here. It's sad. It's all right though. We still got that Luffy. Mini flex. So yeah, we're running 12 blockers. Every blocker green can run is in here. And obviously we have the big boy later that's also a blocker. But these are amazing. It sucks right now against red just because there's so many like little weenies that they could blow up. But that's why we run so many. Like this killer, I would give it the Dawn if I had the extra Dawn, but most of the times I'm always opting. So this is my order of play. I always play this one because it's got no combo power, right? Even if I do have the Yamato on the field, I would play this over this because this has combo power. So at least I can keep this in my hand, and, and if I have to, I can get out of an attack, you know? So you always play your gangs first, then your Tokis, and then your killers at the end, you know? Because most of the time they're trying to play their big boys. They're not going to have stuff to blow this up. So you do literally in order, you play this like that.
100% makes sense, especially why would you play one of the other two and then the Bij are like dead in hand? That 100% makes sense.
Because early game, everyone's playing Vistas and whatever else little thing like a Nico Robin to blow up weenies, you know? Exactly. So at least if they're going to blow something up, your killer's at the end because they're playing big bodies that they're tapping out for. That's when your chance to really get that draw is going to come in.
Exactly. And because obviously I know Gio, just a small spoiler, because I want to do a quick correction. He does not play every green blocker that green has, just every cheap 1-drop green blockers and 2-drops. Yeah, because there's like the 3-drop penguin that people are running now.
Oh yeah. There's some other blockers, but the good ones, you know.
Yeah, the good
one. We run Scratchman of Pooh. It's just really our 2K. I would never actually. I never did play it, and I never planned on playing it. It's just solidly a 2K. And then another 2K. These are so green's really good sometimes with combo power, but really bad because realistically, well, not realistically, it is the truth. These are your only 2Ks in the entire deck.
So you don't even play the Ezo?
Almost never. I almost like this is really like end game. Like I gotta go for the kill. I'll play the Ezo, but this you like. Your turn 1 when you get the cost reduction, I'm never playing Ezo. There's literally no reason.
100%, yes.
Yeah, like I'll swing at life first. It is what it is, you know.
Yes. So
and then
Ezo, go on.
Yeah, I was just saying, if you don't know what Ezo does, she just says on play you rest a 4 or less and switch it to rest mode. And then she's also good. Like maybe against red, I honestly would play her because it's good to have something like that's a 3K. They could just get rid of bodies on the field because it sucks when you have to waste like a Kinemon swing against like a 2K Nami, you know?
And red just goes so wide as well as low.
Exactly. And then of course, so these cards coming up is the ones you always are looking to mull your hand for. This is your turn 1 play because you want to go second. You're looking to play Okiku on turn 1. Because now it goes from a 3 cost to a 2 cost. And this is probably the most busted card in the deck. Like, I know some people run this, maybe like they're trying to be different. They run it at 3 because it's no combo power and it's dead after like turn 1 kind of. But I don't care. I run this at 4. It's mandatory. This is your turn 1. You need to mull for this.
It basically shuts down blue, I would say. Red almost. There's too many cards Okiku just bypasses.
Exactly. And then your other turn 1 play. So I have 6 targets for turn 1. I did want to up the Raizo because there are games where you don't see this turn 1 that kind of sucks. But like I honestly, I think out of the whole 9 rounds I had, I didn't have one match where I didn't see one of these 2 turn 1. So I don't know. I got lucky. I think 6 was a good number. I would like, maybe to up 1 more on the Raizo, but the deck's obviously too tight. So
yes.
but
If you're thinking to increase Raizo, would you ever think about a 3-3 split, or Okiku must be a 4-0 for you?
Okiku's got to be a 4 just because she's good early game and late game. Because as you'll see later on, we have an 8-drop Odin that literally this is your target you're looking for. The Raizo late game isn't going to help me because people are going to try to leave up blockers, and this Okiku is just so annoying that she is the only target they will swing at forever.
Yes.
So once he's out, because this card says you caught your opponents down, you caught your opponents with their pants down because they have no defense. Like you switch 5 or less to rest mode. There's no like if they're running the 7-drop blocker, yeah, I guess sure. But like this pretty much gets every blocker, you know?
Yes. Okay.
And then this one says when it swings, if there's another card in rest mode, it gets to draw. So really good, keeps your hand nice and big. But I almost honestly, I don't think out of the whole 9 rounds, I really played this guy to be 100%.
So he was pure counter power for you.
Pure counter power, yeah. I honestly never played him because I always had the Okiku early, or if I had a bad matchup where I didn't get to go like I wasn't on turn 2, I started on turn 1, then I would always play the Yamato, you know, because I'd be at 3.
Oh.
I'm on turn.
Oh, you're doing the.
Yep. All right. So then the next best card that's a 4 of. So as you can see, there's it's a lot of this deck doesn't have counter power, which is kind of dangerous, but these cards are just too good to run at anything less than 4, and that's why I said the deck profile is almost so like standard that there's nothing really too much tech you could do.
Understandable.
But anyways, so your ideal turn 1 would be go into an Okiku. Your ideal turn 2 would be to go into a Yamato, and then you'd have 1 energy open that if you needed to switch something to rest mode, you could. I did that a lot, where I'd swing, I'd tap down like a Nico Robin, right?
Yeah.
I'd swing 6 at the Nico Robin, and then switch their blocker, and then boom. If the Nico died, I would swing now at the blocker, or if it didn't, Nico's getting another swing with the Kin lead.
And that's what green is good at. It's just good at eating away any resources your opponent plays on the board.
Exactly. Yeah. The whole thing with green is you're trying to get rid of your opponent's hand as quick as possible because they're playing stuff that they want to keep on the board. So you're never, like early game, you're never trying to swing at their life. Like you're always trying to make them use cards from hand because even when they play these cards, right, and you switch them to rest mode, even if they don't combo, that's still 1 card out of their hand that they didn't get any value from.
Yes.
You know? And it's even better if they try to save it. Now they're giving you more cards out of their hand. And even if it survives, it was still going to swing anyways next turn, right?
Yeah.
Then the other MVP of the deck, this X Drake was phenomenal. Literally everyone's like, oh, I could smell an X Drake coming. I was like, yeah, I bet you can, because this card's busted. Literally, I come in, and the real good plays you could do with this is I love baiting people. Like I'll swing at their cards and rest, right?
Yeah.
And they'll give me cards from their hand, and then I'll drop the X Drake, and they're so mad. They're so mad because they just cost like cards out of their hand for a card that was gonna die anyways.
Did you have a favorite target for the X Drake specifically?
Yeah, I never wasted X Drake. Like if we're talking red matchup specifically, I always use this for like a Zoro, you know, because I don't want to swing 5. Like I would do that, right? Like I'd swing 5 to 5 at a Zoro, so he'd give me a card and then I'd blow it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I would always opt more to blow up like things that could swing at me with no value. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't have to give it Dawn to make it lethal or something. Those are the cards I'm blowing up first, or a blocker, because I hate having to swing at blockers for no reason.
Makes sense. Because it basically just did its job at that point.
Exactly. And then the next card, 2 Yamatos. This card was actually super fire. Like I honestly I could not up this more than 2, but it was amazing. Like I actually got the double strike crit off on some games. Like it was really good. Like literally my last matchup, the guy I played this game on turn 2. He blows it up with jet pistol. Next turn, I play it again because literally the life he had just swung at me, I got the other one, and then I played it next turn, and then the turn after I killed him because I hit him for double strike. Game.
he scooped at that one, correct?
Yeah, he did. The last guy he just scooped because he couldn't do anything. I was so on curve, and honestly, Kenny to say what Kinemon's best matchup is, it's probably Law. Like it has a really good matchup against Zoro, but like Law, it's almost impossible for them to win. Your switch Law says they need to have 5 cards on field. This whole deck is about making sure you have a bigger board than your opponent and you're killing their board.
Yep.
And then so now Law never gets to trigger his stuff. His blockers, Law wants to have 4 or 5 blockers out, and you literally say no. Like,
not today.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Even the Yamato is just such a great deterrent. Sometimes they have to stop whatever curve they had just to like either, like you said, jet pistol the Yamato, set up a blocker wall in case you like play Izos or something. Like the Yamato literally just stops a turn for your opponent because they have to deal with that.
I've done that tons of time where like I'll play the Yamato, and honestly I really have no problem with them jet pistoling this. Like it saves my Okiku or whatever.
Yes.
Like, you know, like Yamato is nasty, but like it's okay. If it gets jet pistol, it's not the end of the world.
100%. And it saves your Okiku, like you said.
And then next we have our 2 Eustace Kid. I personally hated this card when it first came out.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that.
I was like, oh man, this card is a win more card, because like literally you can't play this card and your opponent's winning on you, and then this is gonna solely bring you back. It's like literally you play this, and then I would always be like, bro, you paid 7 energy just to have a blocker that dies, you know? But I have learned the errors of my mistake. This is single-handedly the MVP of the deck. Maybe this and Odin, to be honest, but this card is so nasty. When you drop this, it is just consistent value. Yes. And now all your opponent has to do is they have to keep swinging to 7, or they know I'm going to get a free block.
Yep.
Literally, this card is so good. So good. I can't put it up more than 2 just because it's got no counter power.
Yep.
And there was games where I'd like see 2. Like, it's so funny. In this game, I swear, the more you lower a card, the more you see it.
Oh. And
bro, I run... You be running things at 4 of and you don't see them, and then if you run your 2 ofs, bro, you see them both in hand. So this card's so good, but yeah, you just can't run more than 2, sadly, because it gets too cloggy if you get them both. Then the boss monster, the Hallelujah Odin.
Olio.
Yeah, this card is insane. It's literally the whole reason this kin deck's so good. You like if they're somehow like clearing your board, you can literally activate main on kin to play this for 7 energy, which is insane. Yep. So now on your turn 7, you could literally play this, or not turn 7, but 7 gone.
Correct.
Yeah. So and then his effect, I think everyone knows. You tap 3 energy, he restands, and then on KO, you get to play a 3 cost land a Wano, so you're always gonna go for the Okiku or the Raizo, you know.
And then,
but yeah,
quick question as behind the scenes knowledge, since you say Odin is so integral to this deck specifically, why run him only at 3?
Oh my god, literally that is a great question, because this guy can win or lose you games. I've had games where literally I like. This guy is so good that when he's dropped, he turns the whole tide in your favor. Like, it's insane. Like, they could play a Whitebeard with him on the field. You're like, swing with it, bro. I'll kill it next turn.
Yep.
You know? But, yeah, games that you don't see this, it is so much of a struggle. But it's the same problem, bro. Like, there's just so much cards that aren't counter power. Like, what would I cut to up a 4th Odin? You know what I'm saying? Like, gotcha. I need the combo part, and then the same thing. There's literally games where like sometimes I'm getting pushed too hard that I don't even have the turn to play the Odin. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like the tapping 8 and only having 2 up would just be like, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm only at 2 life, and now next turn they have 3 swingers plus whatever they're gonna play. Like, you know.
Gotcha.
So Odin's amazing. I got lucky. I pretty much always saw him on curve. There was some games I didn't see him at all the whole game. But again, red matchups, it's easier for me, and especially if they don't see like as long as they don't see Whitebeard, I'll be fine. But it's gonna be a problem.
Gotcha. Okay, I was just curious about that because I remember you saying Odin is like, without Odin, I'm stressing, bro. I'm stressing.
No, 100%. You're definitely like twice as hard without Odin. Like this guy significantly pushes the favor. Like, how do I say that? Pushes the game in your favor. Yeah, that's how you say it. Yeah, so he's so good just because he can restand himself too. So if you're like super ahead, that you could like afford to just leave him in active mode so they can't dump all the Dawn and swing at him. That's almost
Yep.
what I do because you want to chip people, you know?
Yeah.
But sometimes I leave him in rest mode because I know they're gonna want to swing at him. So I'd rather have an 8K leader than a 5K leader.
Makes sense.
But it's all game scenario, really. You're gonna have to like I can't tell you like, oh, you should leave it in active mode and then like, you know, like
Yeah.
you have to read the match, you know?
Yeah, especially unless you're at like no, because even if you're a 0 life, but unless they had a Whitebeard or another boss monster, you know,
Yeah,
you
no,
wouldn't want to leave it in
if
rest.
yeah, if you're low on life, you almost always leave them in rest because, like I said, you want them to swing at this.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because when you're at 1 or 2 life, they're going for your life. Or maybe if they go for the Odin again, you're an 8K lead now.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather defend 8 than 5 all day.
Gotcha.
Last 2 cards. Paradise Waterfall. This card is elite. I love it. It literally makes this guy the most nastiest thing on the planet. You literally just go ahead and block, restand, block, restand. Dude, I'm telling you, people, bro, when I drop Paradise Waterfall on some people, they're like, bro, that card should be banned. It's too good.
And then you have another blocker.
Exactly, and it's so good too because like early, even if you see early game, late game, this card is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because early game, when you have 4 life, and you know all they want to do is swing at your 1 card in rest mode, boom, Paradise Waterfall, restand. Now they can only give you cards to hand. Like this card, early game, late game is elite.
Gotcha.
So yeah, honestly, I would even debate to up this to 3 and lower this down to 1. But like Punk Gibson really did win me some games too. Like against specifically my blue matchup, where they would leave up like what's that guy called? The
Pacifista, gotcha.
Yeah, the Pacifista blocker. So literally they'd swing whatever. Punk Gibson switch their blocker to rest mode. Now I only got to worry about a Don Flamingo blocker. Swing with Okiku the game, you know?
Gotcha.
So
what is your
really
favorite target with Paradise Waterfall?
Definitely the 7 drop. like I said, a dual 7 drop 7K blocker is elite.
Yep, makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I mean there's games I would try to restand the Odin to be like cheeky, but you're almost always going to be able to defend him with your wall of blockers or something.
Gotcha. And how do you feel about just 4 event cards? Do you feel satisfied? Any defensive issues? Or well, like I said, you just have so many blockers?
Yeah, you usually have so many blockers. Like I don't know. I've never tested it where I switch these numbers around. Like I said, the deck is almost so core in everyone's build that this feels like what it needs to be. But like I actually did get the trigger off a couple of times on Paradise Waterfall where I got to blow up a 4 or less. I never actually got the trigger on all 9 games. I never triggered Punk Gibson once.
Feels so good. It feels so good.
Yeah, I know. But honestly, like I said, in red matchups, bro, I love KOing a 4 or less in rest mode for free. Like that feels like so good. It's a free X Drake, you know? Gotcha. And then, but yeah, like I think I'd still keep it at 2/2. Like the Punk Gibson is really good, but you have to leave 2 energy up, which is kind of sad. Like, you know. So maybe in the future, if you wanted to try something different, I'd say you could do 3 Paradise and 1 Punk, because Paradise is so good early game. Punk Gibson early game is not really useful, you know?
Yeah, 100% agree. So then, I guess since that's the deck, let me just ask you a few things and then we can call it a wrap here. So you already mentioned what were your matchups again, but just to make sure, can you say them one more time?
So my matchups were, I played two Zoros, I played 2 or 3 Laws, and I played 2 Don Flamingos. The Don Flamingos were actually crazy hard matches. Like I barely won both of them.
Yeah.
And then I played 3 of the Luffy. So I think that's right? 3 Luffy, 2 of this, that's 5.
Yep.
6, 7, 8, 9. Yep.
Gotcha.
So I versed every 2, 2, and 2, and then Luffy for 3.
Gotcha. And in your opinion, do you have any, when you go first or second, do you have a ideal hand you're looking for, and what would your curve be, would you say?
Okay, so honestly, the ideal hand is anything with a Yamato or an Okiku. So either one of these two, the other 3 cards do not matter. This is what you're mulliganing for. I'm telling you, the deck is so consistent that as long as you draw these 2 in your opening hand, you're gonna have a great game. Like, and honestly, if you lose the dice roll and he's smart and he makes you go first, yeah, you're looking for Yamato, but you still are gonna need Okiku eventually. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Yamato, if you're going first and they're making you go first with 1 Dawn, Yamato is your best turn 1 technically, because you know your 1 Dawn play isn't gonna do much for you. But turn 2, this is like your bread and butter. This on 1, this on 2.
Gotcha. And that's interesting. So do you try to even prioritize your searchers, or do you say, hey, I have my Okiku, I have my Yamato, I'm good for the rest of the game?
Yeah, no, I'm greedy, bro. Like, there's only plenty. I'm telling you, there's plenty of games where I opened up like 1 Yamato in hand and like some blockers or whatever, right? I would mull. I would mull. Even with like Yamato in hand is really good, and you could definitely have a worse hand with no Yamatos and no Okikus. But I was always greedy. It almost like I got super lucky. It almost always paid off. Like, there was literally one round I remember I was like, I'm dead. I lost because I opened up like mold. I mold back a Yamato, and I was like, I lost because this was literally my opening hand.
Yeah.
blocker, and then my first life was the 4th Kozuki Toki. I was like, I lost, right? And then I just got so lucky with the draws. I like literally it was like clockwork. Because I went second. So my first card I drew, Okiku.
Okiku.
My second card I drew, Yamato.
Yo.
Literally clockwork, bro. So, even when I didn't see it in hand, I still just got lucky. I drew it off the top like Yugimoto, baby.
Well, then other than that, I'm pretty sure that's all we really got to ask for the interview. Any final thoughts, or?
Yeah, I really like the deck. I think you should try it out if you're thinking like it's gonna be a super red meta. Yeah, because red's kind of dominating right now, and green has a really good matchup against it. So we'll see. Now it's gonna be different because I bet there's gonna be more people like seeing after this. They're gonna be like, dang, red is really like heavy in here. So green's a really good counter to red.
Yep. And
but we'll see. Now we might see more green, which means now purple might be the call. So like I said, right now it's a little bit rock paper scissors. So it's really guessing which deck is going to be most prevalent at your regional. That's going to be key to victory.
Gotcha. Okay, well, sir, congratulations on your serialized Luffy.
Thank you.
May
feels
the
great.
gods give you serial number 1. If not, GG.
Hey, it's all getting sent to Beckett either way. So.
And with that, this is Team WonPieceTCG saying bye. Take care, everyone.
Peace.